Welcome to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast, where we learn about some success stories and some not so successful stories. But either way, we learn. Each episode, we talk with successful real estate agents and vendors about things they have done to make them successful and some things they did that you might want to avoid. Join us for each episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin.
All right, listeners. Well, I have a guy I've known a long time. Really like this guy. He's one of the most down-to-earth guys, and actually pretty daggone accomplished too. Mr. Andy Reynolds, how you doing?
I'm doing good, boss man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I've known you a long time. Admired you for being a rock star real estate agent and also a rock star boat drag racer. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Drag boat racer. Yes, sir. That's my bad habit.
So no, man, that's an awesome. That's an awesome habit. So I want to go back in time on both of those to figure out how you got into it. Let's start out with real estate, I guess, since it is real estate podcast. So how did you get into real estate? What? I mean, I know that nobody had that on their bingo card growing up.
That's right. I graduated from college with a business degree, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? It didn't teach me. I didn't go to school to be an accountant or an attorney. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? So I thought I want to be a traveling sales rep for a manufacturer or something like that. But my family was big into boating, and I had a friend of mine call me up and said, "Hey, we're opening up a new marina here on Lake Wiley. We need somebody to sell boats for us." And I said, that sounds good. I'll go do that for a couple of years, get me some sales experience, and go get a real job."
Right.
That turned to be into like 6 years of selling boats, and then I was a service manager, and I just got tired of dealing with employees. I called it the
Yeah.
adult daycare, and I said, I missed the highs and lows of selling. I was always intrigued with real estate. And I said, I'm gonna go get my license. And I went down to Columbia and on the weekends and took the classes, passed the test, and I said, I'm gonna do this part-time, see if I'm gonna really do this or not. And I realized the first week you either gonna do it full-time or get out of it. And so I told my boss at the marine, I said, hey, I'm gonna go give it a shot. If I can't make it, I'll come back and sell boats for you in 6 months. And so got my license December of '06, left my full-time job in February of '07, and here we go. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's right before the crash, right at the crash, right when it started going south.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. So, and
Yeah.
not only that, how did you make that jump? Because I'm assuming at the boat place you had to have a base salary and maybe some commission, but the real estate's all commission, right? Was that a little bit of a leap of faith for you?
Yeah, but all the years of selling boats, I was commission based anyway. So I had that
Okay.
mentality. When I was in the service department, it was fixed and getting a salary. I didn't like to be limited, real estate. I can go to work. I may not make anything today, but I have the potential to make a million. So it's what I want to put into it to get paid.
100%.
So
And
yeah,
I was a former school teacher, and there's a certain safety, in that, I mean, I run a home inspection business, and if we don't do an inspection, we don't get paid. And yeah,
yep,
but the thing that, and I love school teachers, they don't do it for the money. But the thing I noticed one day is, the best school teacher and maybe the not so great school teacher, they all make the same amount of money. There was no reward for working harder or and there was no penalty for working less. And once you go to that, you're like, hey man, I'm paid for my efforts. And like you said, some days it's, I don't know, what's that, John Denver? Some days a diamond, some days a stone, or something like that.
definitely. Some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield.
That's exactly right. Well, also, so now I want to go back to your family. You said your family was into boats and you worked for boat dealership. How did you get into boat racing? That's so cool, man.
My brother is 15 years older than me, so I
Okay.
was a whoopsie baby. But he was my hero. He's very mechanically inclined, and he was racing boats, and I just started tagging along, um, keeping the boat clean and stuff like that. He started building motors for a couple other people because he couldn't afford to do it on his own, and I was just going with them, helping with the crew. And as I got older, um, they just said, "Hey, you want to drive this thing one time on the lake here, make a pass, the season's over." I said, "Yeah." So I did when I was 16, and then me and my brother bought our own boat, and I started driving 21 when I was 20 years old, full time.
That's awesome. Um, so I got so many questions, but I know it's real estate, so I'll try to keep it down. What's the fastest you've ever been clocked on a boat?
So we used to run a quarter mile straight, just like drag car racing, except on water, and the fastest I've been is 225 miles an
Oh
hour
my gosh,
on 1,000 foot.
dude!
I
I,
mean,
I,
in 1,320 feet.
I
Now we're cut back to 1,000 foot, and the fastest I've been in 1,000 foot is 211.
can't even imagine. So my wife got me the different the racing experience at the speedway,
Yeah,
and I did that, and the fastest I got, which was crazy, was like 141 or two, something like that, and I literally thought I was going to lose control. I mean, it's like white knuckle. You're like the whole thing's shaking. I mean, I'm shocked they let people do that. I mean, because one long wrong move and
yeah, exactly. Yep.
I mean, I remember getting out of that thing, and I only did like what I don't know, 6, 7 laps, something like that. I got out of that thing, I was like totally exhausted, and like I've never been because it is so intense. Every like I don't know, I can't imagine going 200 over 200 and on the water. That's even less control. You don't have brakes.
No brakes, just parachutes.
Woo. So that brings me to one other question about that. I grew up in Kernersville. I went to UNC Greensboro. So the big race we always heard about was at Oak Hollow in High Point.
Exactly. That's where I went 225 at Oak Hollow
Did it? But
Reservoir and High Point.
so I got to ask a question. That's a small lake, man. How do you? It seems like you're going 220 miles an hour across that thing, boy. It wouldn't take you long to get to the other side.
That's right. We run 1,000 foot now, and basically you need another 2,500. I mean, another 3,000 feet to get the boat stopped in. So most of the places we go to are small reservoirs, and I put a couple of them on the bank that did not get stopped in time, but we have two parachutes on the boat. So as soon as you go through the finish line, I'm pulling two parachutes, and they grab water instead of air, and so that helps slow the boat down.
That's awesome. And for all the listeners out there, Andy's still active. He is still killing it. So that brings me to my next question. And you're killing it in real estate because I've been to all, I see I'm plugged in. You're
Well,
top producer all the time. How do you juggle the two of those? And I know you have to travel for the racing and getting ready. How do you juggle all that?
well, we it's another full-time job with that boat. My brother maintains it um, at the shop. I go and help as well. But my brother's the one that gets the boat to the racetrack because most of the racetracks we race around anymore are 17 hours away. And I'll fly out and we'll race and I'll fly right back. But I have my phone on. People can call me anytime while I'm away. So I'm very in tune, you know this business, we're very lucky as we can, still field calls. We can still handle stuff. Somebody can still show something for me if we need to. But we only run it about 5, 6 times a year as well, from May to November. So it's not like every weekend I'm gone racing or anything.
Sure, sure. Let me ask you this, Andy. I sponsor a lot of real estate classes, like the orientation, well,
Hmm.
that too. And I've been doing it for years, and I finally figured out, I don't know who they're going to be, but I can look out in that room and be like, there's going to be a couple rock stars in here, just the numbers, and there'll be a whole bunch of people that wash out. I mean, a whole bunch, and there's going to be a couple people that do okay. What do you think? Because you're obviously a rock star and you've lasted. What do you think the difference is between in real estate the people who wash out and the people who really have longevity and do well?
Um, I just have a persistence. You got to get up and do something every day. What I do today is going to affect me 90 days from now. So if I'm not going to make calls or do business, then I may not have a paycheck in 90 days. But it's just seems to be ingrained in my nature that my my family works all the time. My brother worked all the time. It's just a built-in work ethic that I think that hey, this is what I need to be doing. I got to do it. And when I got in business, I had two kids, uh, you know, 5 and 6 years old. I had to supply for everybody's lifestyle, so there was not an option. I got to make this work, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
and your
I,
commission only.
yep, yep. And the good Lord blessed me and got me by to where I could make
Gotcha.
it.
Gotcha. What for sellers out there who are looking to list, listing presentation, what would
Mhm.
you advise a seller to look for in a real estate or to get an agent? And we all know, I mean, people who get a real estate agent sell for more money, less hassle than FISBOs. I mean, obviously we're biased, but statistics show it. What would you recommend sellers look for in a real estate agent?
Um, are they in tune to what you're trying to accomplish? I mean, are they interested in what you and your family's trying to accomplish? And do you think they're competent enough to do it? Um, I specialize in a niche area. I don't try to be all things to everybody. I don't try to sell condos in uptown Charlotte. I'm focusing on the lake and around the lake, and stay in my lane. I don't do commercial. I do residential real estate, and I just try to focus on what I know and know that market, to where I can show confidence that we can get the job done.
Gotcha. And I know you're ton of listings, Lake Wiley, and you do a lot of business down there. Do you do anything in Lake Norman? I mean, there's got to be some similarities, but I know that's a little bit of a drive.
Yeah, there's some similarities there. But I always want to do what's best for the client. And I have some agents up there I refer to stuff to, because I don't know if there's a road going to be going
Yeah,
across here. I don't know if there's, I'm just not in that environment every single day to know what's going on. Um,
gotcha.
and so I try to refer that out.
So when you go out on Lake Wiley showing a house or, just doing your normal, boating, is there ever an urge to really lay down on the throttle, or are you okay with just being a recreational boater at times?
Oh, I can be a recreational boater for sure. So, but boats is my bad habit. A couple people's got a couple cars. I got like 3 or 4 boats, one like you need one to go out and cruise around the lake on, one to go fast on, one to pull people skiers with, one to, you know,
Oh
fish out.
yeah. Well, I had, during COVID, I bought a pair of used jet skis, which
Yes.
hit me in the head.
Yeah.
It was a good day when they were both running good at the same time. It seemed like there was always one of them not running that well. And it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. But, two things, it's true what they say, the two best days of your life.
Hello, I'm Bill Gallagher with Superior School of Real Estate, and I'm here with Preston Sandlin of Home Inspection Carolina. Preston, I've always liked your style, especially those pants, and also I've been interested in the home inspection business for a long time.
Well, Bill, that's ironic. I've always admired your style, and I've always admired your ability to educate these fine folks for sometimes 4-8 hours a day. I wish that I could do what you do.
Hey Preston, wouldn't it be cool if we switched? Preston, we sure got what we wished for, buddy.
We sure did. And now that you're the expert, Bill, I mean, you are wearing the pants. And I'm the instructor and the educator. Tell us what Home Inspection Carolina is doing these days to make the home buying process easier for realtors and home buyers.
Well, Preston, all our home inspection reports now are online for the real estate agent and the client to review the report online and to be able to create a repair list basically online by either clicking repair, accept, monetary compensation, and once they prepare the request, they can then press email, text, or print right then.
You mean it's all automated, Bill?
Absolutely, we are high tech.
Wow. What else is Home Inspection Carolina doing different these days?
Well, Preston, we're training our home inspectors to be non-alarmist. We are training them to put things into perspective and to simplify the message for the homeowner.
Non-alarmist is key, Bill. You remember those days of the 100-page reports and those 3-ring binders that would just go on and on and on, la 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 la. Thank you for being a good non-alarmist.
And Preston, one more thing. We fix the small stuff for free. Do you remember when home inspectors always put those little nitpicky items on those reports?
Oh, bless their hearts.
Well, at Home Inspection Carolina, if we can fix it in 5 minutes or less, we do it for free. We're better with a caulk gun than a keyboard any day. We just fix it.
You mean there's no cost for this, Bill?
Preston, it's free.
Wow.
Well, Preston, these pants really are a catch.
Well, Bill, I've enjoyed wearing the suit, but I don't think I could wear it every day because I got to fix the small stuff for free, and I don't want to ruin a good suit.
Preston, it's been a lot of fun flipping the switch.
And the other part of it is, if I get another boat, I want a pontoon because I could never, I had 2 jet skis, so it's like 2 motorcycles on the water. It's like I can't invite a family out. Like,
Yep.
hey, watch out, because it's like now I could with a pontoon, but it's kind of like you said, different boats for different things.
Mhm.
I got to ask you, non-real estate related, though. What's your feeling on those boat clubs? What do you think about those?
A lot of people are doing it. I don't see how they have enough boats for everybody. I know you register them and they have like 10 to 15 boats. But the people I've talked to, clients that have it, say they don't have a problem reserving a boat and getting a boat. So I think it's a good thing. Went to Keller Williams big convention in Atlanta this weekend, and the guy sat beside me was talking about getting a boat, and I said, hey, you might want to look into a boat club down there. If you Number one, you get access to 4 or 5 different boat styles.
Types of
You get to
styles.
try them out. You get to see which one you like best, and you don't have to haul it to the lake. You don't have to store it. You don't have to winterize it and all that stuff. Less to worry about. Just reserve it, go down and get on it, and don't have to clean it up. So
Gotcha.
yeah, I kind of
So,
like it.
so Andy, if I'm looking to buy a house on the lake, can you take me to the house from the lake?
I can, but a lot of times it's easier to drive in the car around the
Yeah,
lake quicker than I can get you from dock to dock and stuff like that. Now,
gotcha.
if I have a client and we've gone and looked at some by road and they want to see it by water or something, then I've done that. Gone back the second time by water, done it as well.
Gotcha. Let me ask you this, Andy. Big buzzword now is AI. Man, that is the shiny object. I do. I guess I got a 2-part question. Do you use any AI, and how do you think that's going to affect the future of real estate, or is it?
Um, yes, it's going to affect the real estate industry. It's going to affect everything. I think if you use AI to replace you, it's going to replace you. But you need to be out there on social media, being niche to your uh, very concentrated in what you want to do business as. And if you concentrate on that, get AI to realize, hey, we need to recommend Andy Reynolds. If you're looking in the Lake Wiley area, then it's going to be a good thing. You got to embrace that part of it. But you can't be um, using AI to do everything, all your follow up and calling people. I don't think. I think it needs to be a human to human touch. And that's going to be more and more coming into play as everything gets more computerized and things. The your database and your human touch with each other is going to become more important. I think
I
it's kind of
agree.
like
And
we went from emails to handwritten notes. You send somebody a handwritten note today, it's more impactful than them getting an email because everybody's kind of gone away from doing handwritten notes.
yeah, it's almost the opposite now where like, when I was in school, I'm getting ready to turn 57. It was like you wanted to write a paper or something and grammatically perfect, no spelling errors, no, 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 no. I mean, you were graded down for that. It was all, in your head. Now it's almost like I want to see that a little bit to let me know that it was a person that wrote it and not
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Yep.
Because I'm like, this is almost too. They didn't write this.
Yep. Exactly.
So I don't know. Same thing with art, man. I love art, and the old days used to, the more you could paint it close to the way it really looked, the better. But now I want to see some flaws because I want to
Yeah.
know it was a human that did it.
Exactly. Yep.
But anyway, well, let's. I don't want to hold you up too long. Let's play a quick game called This or That, and then I got two last questions for you, and then I'll let you go because I don't want to hold you up. So I'm
You
gonna give you two things, and you choose between iOS or Android.
Android. I like
I'm Android too. My
mess
man.
everybody up. And then I got a iPad and I got a MacBook here, but Android phone.
Well, I had an Android because I get a better camera on it, and like I just get more phone, more memory for the money. In my whole household, all my wife kids, they're all iOS, and they think I'm the green text or whatever you call it. Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
YouTube. Yep, same. Uh, Dog or cat?
Dog.
Big party or small gathering?
Small gathering.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach or lake?
Lake.
I got you. LeBron or Michael?
Michael.
I hope no. Hopefully your wife doesn't see this. Ginger or Marianne?
Marianne.
There you go. I'm glad you got that question. Sometimes I'll ask a younger person, like, who, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Uh, would you rather have flip flops or tennis shoes?
I love wearing, I like to be able to wear flip flops, but I just they don't work for my feet. So I got to wear tennis shoes most of the time.
Gotcha. Car or truck?
Truck.
A day at the beach or a day at an amusement park?
Day at the beach.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Uh, Coffee hot or iced coffee?
I'm not a big coffee drinker, period, but when I do have it, it's usually hot.
Would you rather read a book or ebook?
Ebook.
When sleeping, fan off or on?
Um, Usually on. Yep.
Yeah, same,
Yep.
same. It's tough, man. We go somewhere and stay in a hotel and they don't have a fan. I'm like, God, I'm used to. I might have to start carrying one with me.
We got
Uh,
these big blankets on our bed, and now when I go to a hotel, the sheets are so thin and everything. I'm like
feel
freezing.
like you're cold. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Plus, my
heavy
wife.
blankets.
I she can get make sure she doesn't hear this, but she's at that age now. I mean, early on she was always cold and I was always hot, but now that's flipped. And man, she keeps it like a meat locker in our. I mean, I'm sitting there. When you breathe the smoke
Yeah.
because it's so cold.
Yeah.
Like, it's a meat locker in here. All right, last this or that. Toilet paper over or under?
It don't matter to me. I'm just gonna throw it on the thing.
Gotcha. Most people say over, but I've heard people that have cats that they do under because the cats will roll it out
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So last two questions. Okay, the first one is you can change the names to protect the guilty if you want. What is the wildest, craziest, weirdest real estate story? Uh, like we were sitting at a bar having a beer, and I'll be like, Andy, tell me your craziest real estate story. What would you tell me?
So one that stands out to me, we were talking about this weekend. Um, It was back about 2011 or so, and this new lake place came up for sale, and I had some clients wanted to see it. So
Mhm.
I scheduled a showing through centralized showing at the time, and we go down there, and there's no sign in the yard. The listing agent said, "Hey, the door's gonna be open." I said, "Sounds good." So I go down there, we go in there. This is like 6 o'clock in the evening. We walk through the house. I throw my business card down there on the counter. And about 9 o'clock that night, I get a phone call from this guy, and he's drunk. And he's like, "I got a business card in my house. What the heck you doing in my house?" And I was like, "No, sir, I had an appointment to be there." "No, this house ain't for sale." Blah blah, just chewing me out. I said, "Sir, I did not come in your house without an appointment. Your listing agent is so and so, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "What is going on?" So I called the listing agent, and he says, "Well," he said, "that's the son living there. Dad, he's been in the house, and dad can't get him out. So dad's done. He wants to sell the lake house, but you know, the the son hadn't been notified, I guess, of what was going on. I'll straighten it out." So I said, "Okay." So next day, my people want to go back for a second showing. And
Uh-oh.
I told the listing agent, "Hey, we need the property
Uh-oh.
disclosures. We're getting close here. We're gonna make an offer on this thing." And so we go back the next day, and I walk in the house, and he has a nice wooden kitchen table there. Okay. And in
Okay.
the middle of that table is the property disclosures with about a 15-inch knife stuck
Oh
in the
my
center, butcher knife stuck in the center of the table, right through the property disclosures. And I'm like, "Okay, y'all good? I think I'm good." And they were like, "Yeah, we're good." And we turned around and walked out of that house. That's my best story
Oh
so
my
far.
gosh. So did they not make an offer or they did?
We
I
did, we
just
did not
curious.
make an offer on that one. We bought something else, but yeah, we were all like, "Yeah, this. Even if we buy this place, it's going to be a problem with this guy."
Yeah, and
We're out of
probably he'll tear it up on his way out, probably because
here.
he's mad,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah,
That's so crazy. We hadn't had anything that dramatic. We had one time one of my inspectors, you know how you leave a radon machine and you got to go back 48
yeah,
hours later.
yeah,
And we made the appointment. We always,
yeah,
make the 40, and we even tell them when we're there, we got to come back and pick this machine up. And I mean, we have super keys and all that. And this was back before I think now we go through showing time, but back then you didn't. But we had made the appointment. I don't know. I guess that didn't get communicated to the seller or something. And my guy picked up the radon thing or something, and maybe he left a business card too. I can't remember. But somehow he found out about it. And I guess he didn't know. And he raised hell. He was like, saying he's gonna beat all our, what, and he was gonna shoot us and he was gonna call the police. And I was like, "Sir, is there anything damaged or missing at your house?" And he's like,
yeah,
"No." And I'm like, "Well, what?" What? I mean, I get that you didn't know. I mean, at some point you realize you're dealing with somebody who might not all be there or something. You know what I mean? And it's like, I, it sounds like y'all came to that realization as well.
yes, exactly.
And I'm like, I'm trying to talk reason to somebody who's unreasonable, and it's just not going to work. But anyway, last question. I mean, boy, that's a great thing about real estate. Everybody's got some good stories. All right, last question, Andy. Let's say you woke up tomorrow in a I mean, just hang with me here for a second. In a brand new world, same in a lake, just like Lake Wiley, Fort Mill, and Charlotte, same, just like a parallel universe. But you didn't know anybody. But you had all your equipment. You don't have to buy any computers or you got all that. But you didn't know anybody, and you had 5 grand. What would you do in the next week or so or month with your time and that 5 grand to get your name out there? You don't have to buy any equipment or anything.
Yeah. So basically, I'd be going and doing open houses. That's how I built my business when I started. That's how I survived. When I got in the business, I thought I'd be more of a buyer's agent, and I got a few listings there in '09, '08, and things weren't selling. So I said, "Well, I'm gonna put my picture on my signs. I made these big 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot signs, open house, a foot tall. I had flags out, and I'd get out and put directionals out. And I was trying to find a buyer for those few listings that were not selling, and just trying to do everything I could do to get them sold. And it turned out to be a listing magnet because people were seeing me put out my signs, be at open houses every weekend. They said, "Hey, you seem to be the only one in this town working. How about come list my house?" And I was like, yeah, okay." And it just grew from there. We're sitting in the office and all the leadership saying, "You got to list the last, you got to list the last." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I've got like 16 listings. I can't afford any more listings in the marketing I'm doing." But when the market changed and it took off, I had all those listings. Boom. It was great. So I
That's an
think,
awesome strategy. And
yeah.
you know something else I want to add to that, Andy, to any of the new agents out there listening. I'm in a bunch of these uh, office groups in different offices, and people are always looking. Like if you start out and you don't have anything,
Mhm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but they're always looking for an agent who will do an open house. For I mean, if you put it out there that you're willing to do it, you could probably. I mean, would you think that you could? You could probably do that every weekend,
Oh
even if you
yeah.
don't have any of this.
Yeah. I mean, we have a great agent in our office here, very successful, and she's doing like two a weekend. And and if she has multiple houses, she's got other people in our office doing them for her, and she's there as well. So you got to get in the path of business, and those people are out there looking,
That's
and they
awesome.
walk into a home. Yeah, you're going to do three that zero people show up, but you're going to get that one that says, um, you know, who's your agent you work with? It's going to be you. And I said, well, okay. Just because they saw me out for the last month and a half doing open houses and knew I did
You're
a niche
working, man.
market, yeah, and came in and said, I want to use you.
That is awesome. Well, Andy, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy guy. To me, you're like the Elon Musk, man. You running SpaceX
I
and
don't know
Tesla,
about that
man.
now.
You're running a successful real estate and a drag race. Like I have trouble running one business, and you successfully running two. But I appreciate all you do for the industry and all that, and all the listeners out there. I know you got some value. How can they follow you? I mean, what are your internet, handles on the different platforms?
Sure, you can call me, text me directly at 704-763-7196. Um, Website, smartmovewithandy.com, andyonlakewiley.com. So,
And
Andy,
you're on Facebook and
yep,
Instagram too,
yep,
right?
yep, yep, yep.
So everybody who's listening to this, if you got some value and you know you did, go give him some likes and follows or whatever the kids do, whatever the platform is. I know they call it something different. Well, Andy, thank you so much for your time and thank you for all the golden nuggets you shared.
Hey man, thank you for everything you've done for our industry because you came to our office, you were always there, you're the great marketer, and that's what this is about, getting out there. And I got my signs on my truck and my name on my truck and my big signs and my picture. And so I admire that kind of marketing and everything you've done for our office and our industry because you really pour into people. I don't know how you do it having all the different employees and everything, but Frank Signa, he's my man. I use him for my home inspection. So give a shout out to Frank.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Yeah, Frank's a good dude, man. He is a good
Yep.
dude. Well, thank you. And back at you, Andy, for all you do. You're one of the people I really admire in this business.
Thank you, sir. I admire you.
You've been listening to the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast with your host, Preston Sandlin. Join us on the next episode where we'll be talking to a successful agent or vendor about the right things to do and the wrong things you should avoid. Join us on the next episode of the Successful Real Estate Broker Podcast.